Hello everyone. Today we are going to see chapter 6 of science, that is reproduction in animals. In this chapter we will see what is reproduction and what are its types. So let's start. What is reproduction? Reproduction is the production of new individuals from their parent. It is the continuation of similar kind of individuals generation after generation. Modes of reproduction. There are two modes of reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is the fusion of male gamete and a female gamete. The male gamete they are called as sperms and the female gamete it is called as ova or egg. Reproduction in which only a single parent is involved, that is called as asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction. Male reproductive organs. In this, the reproductive parts are a pair of testes, sperm ducts, and a penis. A pair of testes, they produce the male gametes called as sperms, and millions of sperms are produced by these testes. The sperms, they are very small in size. Each is having a head, midpiece and a tail, and each sperm is a single cell. The testes they produce the sperms. The sperms they are passed through these sperm ducts and they reach to the penis. Female reproductive organs. The reproductive parts are a pair of ovaries, oviducts or the fallopian tubes, and the uterus. The ovary they produce the female gamete called ova or eggs. The fallopian tube, in this the single matured egg is released into the oviduct by one of the ovaries every month, and uterus is the part where the development of baby takes place. Fertilization. Fertilization is a process of fusion of a sperm, that is male gamete, and ovum, that is female gamete. The nuclei of the sperm and the egg they fuse to form a single nucleus. The male gamete and the female gamete, the nucleus fuse together, and after fusion, after fertilization, there is a formation of zygote. Zygote is the beginning of new individual. Fertilization. There are two types of fertilization: internal fertilization, external fertilization. If the fertilization takes place inside the female body, then it is called internal fertilization, that is humans, cow, dogs, etc. And if the fertilization takes place outside the female body, then it is called external fertilization. Example is aquatic animals such as fish, frog, test tube babies, etc. External fertilization. In this we will see what are test tube babies. In some women, the oviducts are blocked. These women are unable to bear babies because the sperms cannot reach the egg for fertilization. In such cases, the doctors collect the eggs, freshly released eggs from the female and sperms from the male, and keep them together in a petri dish for few hours for the fertilization to occur. That is called as in vitro fertilization. Fertilization outside the body. In case fertilization occurs, the zygote is allowed to develop for a week and then it is placed in the mother's uterus. Complete development takes place and the baby is born like any other baby. Such babies born through this technique, they are called as test tube babies. Reproduction in fishes. Here the symbol with a circle having a plus sign, it represents the female, and the symbol with a circle having an arrow sign, it represents the male. Here males and females they expel the eggs and sperm outside the body. Here the sperms are released and these are the eggs. The fertilization is taking place outside, which results in the formation of zygote, and zygote develops followed by embryo. Embryo is the developing stage where the other parts are being developing. This embryo, after that the eggs hatch and the larvae are born. These larvae are turned into juvenile fishes. Then individuals, they go through the different stages of development until they reach adulthood and start the cycle again. Reproduction in frogs. During spring or rainy season, frogs move to ponds and slow flowing streams. When the male and female come together in water, the female lay hundreds of eggs. A layer of jelly holds the eggs together and provides protection to the eggs. As the eggs are laid, the male deposits sperms over them. Each sperm swims randomly in water with the help of its long tail. The sperm comes in contact with the eggs. This results in external fertilization, that is development outside the body. The embryo continue to grow within the egg coverings. After the embryos develop, the eggs hatch out. Development of embryo. Fertilization results in the formation of zygote, which develops in an embryo, which is the developing stage. You can see here, from the ovary, the eggs are released. It fuses with the male gametes, that is the sperms, and it results in the formation of zygote. The zygote is a single celled. Then it divides into 2-cell stage, then 4-cell stage, then 8-cell and 16-cell stage, that is called as corolla, and then into a blastocyst, which is a group of cells. The cells begin to form groups that develop into different tissues and organs of the body. This developing structure is termed as embryo. The embryo gets embedded in the wall of the uterus for further development. The embryo continues to develop in the uterus. It gradually develops body parts such as hands, legs, eyes, ears, etc. Fetal development. The stage of embryo in which all the body parts can be identified is called as a fetus. When the development of fetus is complete, the mother gives birth to baby. Internal fertilization. Reproduction in hens. In hen, this part is represented here. The ovaries are there. It is released in the infundibulum. It is a funnel-shaped cavity or a structure. From that, the ovary passes through magnum. It is the largest section of oviduct where the thick albumen or the egg white forms. From magnum, it reaches to isthmus. It is the region where inner and outer shell membranes of the egg form. From isthmus, it reaches uterus, where all the remaining shells are added. And from the uterus, it passes through vagina and then through the vent, where the eggs are dispatched through this small opening. How chicks are born. Soon after fertilization, the zygote divides repeatedly and travels down the oviduct. As it travels down, many protective layers are formed around it. The hard shell in a hen's egg is one such protective layer. After the hard shell is formed around the developing embryo, the hen finally lays the eggs. The embryo takes about 3 weeks to develop into a chick. The hen sits on the eggs to provide sufficient warmth. Development of chicks takes place inside the eggshell during this period. The chick is completely developed. It bursts open the eggshell. In this picture you can see it takes about nearly 3 weeks for the development of the chick, that is almost 21 days. External fertilization and internal fertilization, the differences are In external fertilization, fusion of gamete occurs outside the body of an organism. In an internal, the fusion takes place inside the body of the organism. Large number of both female and male gametes are released into the surrounding medium. Here, the chances of fertilization is less because there are many predators threatening their survival. Example is bonifishes, frogs, etc. And in internal fertilization, the number of sperms produced are very large and the number of eggs produced are less, and chances of fertilization is more. The offsprings are well protected comparatively. Examples are birds, mammals, etc. Viviparous and oviparous animals. Oviparous animals are those whose ears cannot be seen and they does not have hair on the skin. They lay eggs, incubate and hatch their young ones. So they are called as oviparous. The animals whose ears can be seen and they have fur on their skin, they give birth to babies and they are called as viviparous. Metamorphosis. It is the transformation of larva into an adult in two or more distinct stages through drastic changes. It is called metamorphosis. Life cycle of a silk moth. The process of metamorphosis, it undergoes 4 stages of growth. The first stage is called an egg. The egg hatches when the insect comes out of it. It usually looks like a worm. This is called as a larval stage. The larva eats a lot and it grows quickly. Then a hard covering forms around it as it enters the third stage, that is the pupa inside the cocoon. The insect goes through more changes as pupa and then it freezes out into the world as it is in adult stage. That is silk moth. Life cycle of frog. There are 3 distinct stages in the life cycle of frog. Egg, from the it changes into tadpoles, then the tadpole with legs, then in a young frog and then in an adult frog. Asexual reproduction, in which it is a type of reproduction in which only a single parent is involved. So budding. Let's see the example for budding. In hydra, there may be one or more bulges. You can see here this is a parent hydra and here there is a bulge coming out. It is looking like a bud. These bulges are developing new individuals and they are called as buds. The bud grows to form baby hydra. So this is a baby hydra. The baby hydra separates from the parent and this process is called as budding as the new hydra is formed from bud. Binary fission. Binary, it is amoeba is a single-celled organism. You can see here it is a single-celled organism. It begins the process of reproduction by the division of its nucleus into 2 nuclei. This is followed by the division of its body into 2, each part receiving a nucleus. Finally, the 2 amoebae are produced from one parent amoeba. And this type of asexual reproduction in which an animal reproduces by dividing into 2 individuals, that is called as binary fission. If this video was helpful to you, then like it, share it and subscribe it. Thank you.